Life is full of challenges, moments that test our courage, push our limits, and leave us questioning if we're strong enough to face what lies ahead. In times like these, fear has a way of creeping in, whispering doubts into our hearts and clouding our vision. But there's an antidote to fear, a force stronger than any obstacle we might face: faith. Choosing faith over fear is not just a mantra, it's a way of living, a decision to trust in something greater than ourselves when the storms of life rage around us. The nature of fear. Fear is a natural response to the unknown. It stems from our desire to protect ourselves and avoid pain. While fear can sometimes be a helpful warning signal, it often becomes a barrier. It tells us to stay in our comfort zones, to avoid risks, and to give up when things seem impossible. But here's the truth: fear is a liar. It magnifies our weaknesses, diminishes our potential, and blinds us to the endless possibilities God has placed before us. Fear may shout, "What if you fail?" But faith responds, "What if you succeed?" Fear says, "You're not enough." Faith reminds you, through Christ, you can do all things. Faith is the foundation. Faith, on the other hand, is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Hebrews 11 verse 1. It is the belief that God is in control, even when we can't see the full picture. Faith doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means choosing to move forward despite it. It's the quiet confidence that God is greater than our challenges, and His promises are stronger than our doubts. When we choose faith over fear, we invite God to step into our situations and guide us. It's like handing over the steering wheel to the one who knows the road ahead, trusting that He will lead us safely, even if the journey gets bumpy. How do we choose faith over fear? Focus on God's promises. Fear grows when we focus on the problem instead of the solution. The Bible is filled with promises from God that remind us of His faithfulness. Isaiah 41 verse 10 says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Meditate on verses like these when fear threatens to overwhelm you. Take one step at a time. Faith doesn't always mean taking giant leaps. Sometimes, it's about small, consistent steps forward. Fear tells us to freeze, but faith encourages us to act, even if it's just one small move. Remember, the Israelites didn't see the Red Sea part until they stepped into the water. Pray for courage. Prayer is a powerful weapon against fear. When fear arises, bring it to God. Be honest about your doubts and worries, and ask Him to fill you with courage. Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7 reminds us to not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Remember past victories. Fear often makes us forget how far we've already come. Take time to reflect on the challenges you've overcome with God's help. Each victory is a reminder that He is faithful and will continue to guide you through whatever lies ahead. Surround yourself with faithful people. Fear thrives in isolation. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, encourage you, and remind you of God's goodness. Share your fears with trusted friends or mentors who can pray for you and help you regain perspective. Faith over fear in action. Consider the story of David and Goliath. To the Israelite army, Goliath was a towering threat, someone to be feared. But David saw him through the lens of faith. While others focused on Goliath's size, David focused on the size of his God. He stepped onto the battlefield not with fear, but with faith that God would deliver him. And He did. Faith over fear doesn't mean we won't face giants, it means we face them knowing we don't fight alone. Fearless doesn't mean perfect. Choosing faith doesn't mean you'll never feel afraid again. Even the most faithful people have moments of doubt. But the key is not letting fear paralyze you. Faith reminds us that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness, 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. When fear whispers that you're not good enough, faith declares that you are chosen. When fear tells you to give up, faith reminds you to press on. The rewards of faith. Living a life of faith over fear leads to freedom, freedom to dream, to grow, and to live fully in God's purpose for your life. Fear may offer safety, but faith offers abundance. Jesus said, "I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full," John 10 verse 10. That full life doesn't come from hiding in fear, but from stepping out in faith. Final encouragement. What are you facing today? What fear is holding you back from the life you know God is calling you to? Whatever it is, remember this: you are not alone. The same God who calmed the storm, parted the sea, and defeated giants is with you. He goes before you, stands beside you, and watches over you. Choosing faith over fear is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It's the path to peace, purpose, and a deeper connection with God. So, take that step, say that prayer, and trust Him with the rest. Let faith be the voice that drowns out fear. Because when you choose faith over fear, you're choosing a life of victory, courage, and unwavering hope. You've got this, because God's got you.